This is a demonstration of custom stack AI web development and how powerful this can be. This was originally a WordPress website, and I asked the AI to just convert it into a more convenient custom stack. It doesn't use PHP, it doesn't use MySQL, there is no WordPress, there are no themes, there are no plugins. There is only in this website what I asked the AI to put in this website. I did work on building a scheduling calendar for service calls. This is a heating contractor. So I have this calendar back here that shows me month, week, and day. And this lists all the workers in different columns. If I want to focus on a particular worker, I just hold Control and tap that worker. I can then hold Shift and see 3 workers at one time. I can also create an appointment for any one of these workers. Let's make a 90-minute call. It's already assigned to the column for the guy I was in. It will automatically find customers from their customer database, and it geocodes all the customers. So these are supposedly correct addresses, and we know the lat long, so we can calculate the travel time from the office. Once I do this and save, and get that out of here, I go back to the calendar and now I see this. This was a C. Randerson call. If I again hold Control and click, it's only showing me C. Randerson stuff. Now if I want to trade for a different employee, I can just enable different employees, and they're color coded. So as I drag this to a different column, it shows me the color and name of the person I'm transferring the call to, and it updates the service call in the back end. And I can control which sales reps or service people are listed. So it's a really quick, easy way to generate new calls. I can also create pending requests. So if I go out to the front end of this website and I schedule a service, we'll just put my info in here, and I'll just mark this as a test, and then request appointment. Oh, I have to tell it what kind of service. Annual maintenance, that sounds pretty good. Request appointment. Your service request has been received. Now, if I go back to the dashboard and to the calendar, I'll see this little block over here. Now, I haven't built this yet, but what would be really cool would be able to drag this block out onto the calendar and just assign it to somebody. So that's what I'm going to have the AI do right now. And that will show you how even in a complex interface with a lot of JavaScript and a lot of database backend going on, I should be able to do a customized thing like this. So we're going to go over to Cursor. This is the app I've been using to do this development. And I'm going to say on the schedule, make the pending appointments draggable onto the calendar. Default the time to 60 minutes and show color of technician like dragging appointments currently do. Then open the appointment editor for final confirmation. That's all I'm going to tell it. Now it's going to chug away here and figure out what to do and how to go about doing that. Now, the important thing to understand, to be able to do this, you have to approach the overall project in a very organized fashion. You have to understand what data tables you're working with, and you have to define a structure in a document that the AI references. And this is what gives the entire project structure. If I were to go into a project that already had a pile of code and just tell it something like that, odds are the AI would break something else in the code, or I would run into new problems, and you might end up doing more and more iteration. And what you're fighting against is any disorganization or breakdown of structure that would lead to conflicts, because that's where the iteration and faults come from. So in this case, I started out by making sure that the syntax it's using in order to perform the dynamic functions on the page is consistent. And I'm using a particular tool that has a data capability built into the syntax. It doesn't rely on an external program for data. The external program is another whole can of worms, because you have scripting in PHP, for example, and then you also have to write the code that allows the PHP to speak to the SQL database. And that makes the entire thing that I'm trying to demonstrate here far more complicated. In this case, if the data functions are simply a part of the syntax and the data just lives in RAM, not only does it outperform a PHP and SQL arrangement, but the AI has access to a single syntax that controls both data and scripting. Additionally, you're responsible for your own referential integrity in that situation. In other words, there's no database running, so there's no program that automatically adds indexes and IDs to every row. And I have to explicitly explain to the AI that, look, if you delete an item off of an invoice, that's fine, but you can't delete an invoice if there are still items in the item table for that invoice. So that relational integrity becomes the responsibility of the person doing this work that I'm showing you here. So it has to be outlined and defined at the start of the project, and it has to be in a format that whatever AI you're using can reference in order to ensure that that integrity stays consistent throughout the project. But if you do that right, it should be able to pull off amazing feats, which so far I've been pretty impressed. So it's added 524 lines of code and deleted 9, and it's at the point now where it's already decided what it's going to do, and it's just making the final changes to the various files in this program. And while it's doing that, I can take you out and just show you. Let's go to Documents here. This is all documented in a single folder for Randerson. So there's backups in here about agents, assets, the pages, the cal, the docs, there's include files. I didn't write a single line of any of this. Everything that's in here was generated by AI, all organized and structured by AI. Now let's go back and see where the cursor is at, and it's saying, yeah, new drag handler, so it wants me to go verify that this thing works. Now I do this verification on a local server. So the local server is 127 Randerson. There we go. And I'm going to zoom down here, and oh, I'm already logged in. We'll go to the dashboard. There we go. And service calls. And now I don't have one in there, so I have to go back out and remake the request on this one. So let's go to service schedule and do what we did before. Create one. We'll pick a service, annual maintenance, and we'll just call it test. And then request appointment. There, now I know what's in there. We'll go back to the dashboard and back to our service calls, and there it is. Now, according to what I just did, I should be able to drag this. Oh, look at there. Let's give this one to the green one, Schmidtka. Poof. And then it opens the window. It's assigned to Justin Schmidtka. And it highlighted that box. That's some additional code I had it add. Now, if I just control-click on Schmidtka, there's my appointment. I just dragged it out of here and onto the calendar. Now, that's the kind of feature that would take you, I don't know how long to code if you were writing JavaScript and that sort of thing for it. But with AI, you can tell it what you want, and what you want can be really complicated and sophisticated. And it can do a pretty damn good job.